27 years ago, an entire class of 23 students disappeared without a trace during a school field trip. No bodies, no evidence, just gone. Their teacher, Mrs. Holloway, vanished with them. The case baffled investigators, and over time, people stopped asking questions. But one mother never gave up. For nearly 3 decades, Laura Calloway has searched for the truth about her missing daughter, Emily. Every lead led to a dead end, until today. Why is the principal in this picture? She wasn't supposed to be there. The realization sends a chill down her spine. She grabs her phone and dials a number. Detective Monroe, I found something. We need to talk. Detective Monroe, early 60s, skeptical but intrigued, examines the photo. He sighs. Laura, we've been over this. There's no new evidence. Look at the principal, Mrs. Davenport. She wasn't on that trip, but she's in the picture. And look at her face. She looks scared. Monroe hesitates. He's seen that look before. Fear. All right, let's pay her a visit. Laura and Monroe enter the nursing home, where Mrs. Davenport, now frail and in her 80s, sits by the window. Mrs. Davenport, do you remember the 1997 field trip? The old woman's expression tightens. Her eyes dart to Monroe, then back to Laura. Mrs. Davenport, whispering, you shouldn't have come. Monroe, firmly, what happened to those kids? Mrs. Davenport's breathing grows rapid. She grips Laura's wrist, eyes wild with fear. They never left. What do you mean? Mrs. Davenport hesitates, then slides a trembling hand into her nightstand drawer, pulling out an old yellowed letter. She took them, and she's still waiting. The letter is signed, Mrs. Holloway. Laura and Monroe step into the crumbling remains of the old school. Dust floats in the air. The sound of wind howls through broken windows. Laura had spent years searching for her daughter, never realizing she had been searching in the wrong place. They push open a heavy wooden door, the auditorium, where the field trip picture was taken. Their flashlights flicker. Help us, Laura gasps. Monroe raises his gun. The whispers grow louder, overlapping. Children's voices pleading, Emily! A sudden bang. The door slams shut. The flashlight flickers, and for a split second they see them. 23 children, standing motionless in the darkness. Laura steps forward, tears in her eyes. The children don't move. Then, behind them, a shadowy figure in an old teacher's uniform appears. Mrs. Holloway. Mrs. Holloway, softly. Class is still in session. Some mysteries are never meant to be solved, because some doors should never be opened. Subscribe for more.